Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Girl Talk Mental Health dares to go where others won't. We unpack the hard truths about mental health, dissect trending topics, and challenge the stereotypes and stigmas holding us back. From navigating the 6 dimensions of wellness to redefining social norms, this is more than a discussion. It's a revolution in how we care for our minds and souls. Ready for bold, honest conversations that spark change? Let's dive in. It's time for real talk with real impact.
You are not the only one smiling through the sadness. Season 3 on Girl Talk Mental Health, we didn't just talk about it, we told the truth. From Minority Mental Health Month to suicide prevention awareness, every episode was a lifeline. Girl Talk Mental Health pulled back the curtain on what it means to smile through the storm and heal beyond the shame. Whether you're grieving, glowing, or growing, Girl Talk Mental Health is your sanctuary. And today, I'm honored to sit with someone whose journey reflects so many of ours, smiling in public, but silently struggling. So let's welcome our special guest, Miss Audrey Tang, to the scene. So welcome. So let the audience know a little bit about who you are. Introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me, Virginia. I am Dr. Audrey Tang. I'm a chartered psychologist. I'm a well-being trainer and author. I've written books in the area of well-being for leaders, things like focusing on mindfulness, resilience, and well-being itself. I deliver training. I teach burlesque as a side hustle. I produce community theatre and recently turned my theatre group into a charity where we now support other grassroots arts organisations that promote inclusivity and community through arts-based projects.
All right, that's awesome. And let me put a handle on it, Dr. Audrey. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. It was one of those things that when I finally got my PhD, I'm changing it on everything.
Okay, you better. You supposed to. Like, that's a great accomplishment. And you had another accomplishment. You won a pageant. Tell us about that. A little bit about that.
I came first runner-up in my division at the UK National Miss pageant finals in the classic division, which is women over 45. But I also was awarded Confidence Queen, and I had the most amazing time. It's something I haven't done since 1993 when I was 17, and it's very different to then. And it was a whole new experience for me.
I bet. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. And then you in the over 45 category, people are like, oh, I'm not going. I'm too old. I can't compete with the younger generation, but you're never too old to do things like that.
Exactly.
So congratulations.
Thank you. And that's why I wanted to do it as much as anything else, because I thought, well, you know what, this would actually push me and I will have to learn new things and I will have to try new things. And if I can do it, it means that I can role model that, or role model exactly what I teach people.
Right. And then it defies the stereotypes, the stigmas, the societal norms about what you can do at certain ages. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
So you ready to dive into this impactful conversation?
Absolutely. It's so important. And I think it will resonate with loads of women out there.
Right. So we're doing the season 3 recap. And in July, we uncovered some painful truths about how minority communities carry mental health differently. So what are some moments in your personal journey that made you realize that something like self-care wasn't selfish, but it was survival when it comes to the silence around pain in our cultures?
One of the hardest things is I think we can normalize little microaggressions. So when I was growing up, when I first encountered friendships and life and schooling in London, which was very cosmopolitan. It felt like the United Nations. We recently had a reunion and there were people from every culture, every ethnicity sitting around that table. And that was wonderful. However, I moved to Hastings when I was 11, and this was a much more restricted community, shall we say, and being the only Chinese family in the area, that was quite difficult. Then another Chinese family moved in and went to the same school as I did, and immediately everybody thought, well, you have to be friends with each other because you both look the same. And it's kind of, well, we're not the same. We're not from the same place. We're not from the same cultures. But with nothing else to kind of tell you that's wrong, or that there's anything wrong with that kind of behavior, you begin to normalize it. And that's one of the things I think I carried with me. And strangely enough, you mentioned pageants. When I was 17 and still in Hastings, that's when I decided to enter the carnival pageant. And winning that was actually it was a really positive thing, in that the town recognized it. But what it also did was it put me into the spotlight, where again I became a bit of a target for a bit of racial abuse and so on. So on the one hand, I think it's good on Hastings for giving that visibility,
Right.
but people can't always handle the visibility, because people are now seeing, oh, you don't look the same as me, let's just comment on that. And at 17, that's quite difficult to deal with.
I bet.
So
Absolutely.
that was something that I would say was normalized. Then I went back to London. That made a huge difference. But the other thing I faced, strangely enough, and this is very lovely, I think, about my genetics. I look a lot younger than I am. So I entered the
You do.
I recently. I know I look younger than that. But to be taken seriously in my work in the corporate world, that was another area where immediately you're judged when you walk in. And it's only when you can almost prove yourself by showing your credentials, by knowing your material, that you win everybody over. And sort of coming up in that same vein, because I speak with a very clear British accent, people also gave me a lot of mistrust until I opened my mouth, and they found that they could understand me very
Yeah.
easily. Now, all of those things shouldn't actually matter. All of those things shouldn't affect anybody with an accent who looks from a different ethnicity. There shouldn't be any differences. But those are things that I still noticed, and those are the ways I've had to work harder to actually get over them. And I think those are things that people don't realize you have to do.
Absolutely. So did you experience some type of depression, sadness? How did you overcome those things?
I think I wouldn't say, I'm very lucky. I have not experienced depression, probably a little bit of anxiety, maybe who doesn't
Okay.
experience that.
Yeah.
Certainly things like imposter phenomenon and a constant worry of, if I cannot prove myself, then that whole meeting or example or situation is going to be a disaster. And that probably puts extra pressure on you to do even more and even better.
Right.
But then from the other side, you get this other criticism of, oh, well, you're just too much. You do
Yeah.
everything.
Putting on the
Oh, well, no one can be as good as you. And you think, it's like, well,
show.
why do I stop?
A double-edged sword. Can't win for losing.
Yes, exactly.
But you always have such a bubbly and kind and happy personality, for sure. I know that much. So
Oh, well, that's really kind. And that's something I think is natural to me. And that's something I've had to work really hard on as a coach, actually, because my natural persona is to smile. And of course, sometimes people are telling you the most horrible things. The last thing you want to be doing, and I have a nervous laugh as well, is smiling and giggling at that. So I've had to work really hard on that natural bubbliness, to be able to be calm, be able to be, be able to contain their anxieties and so on. But I think deep down I am just quite positive and
you are.
happy, which is great.
Because well, guess what? In August, our theme was happiness happens, and so many of us, it's hard for us to smile, especially when we have trauma going on, when we're being stigmatized, when things happen. Those things still whisper in our back, like with you, it whispers in the back of your head, even though you're like, I am enough. I'm at this place, so I have accomplished enough. I'm here. I'm knowledgeable. But still, it's hard to well, you have to put on the smile. It's
It
hard to keep that smile on.
it is, and then when you add neurodiversity into that as well, I think one of the biggest problems we have, and this is men and women, is masking. So if you have a neurodiversity, if you feel an imposter, if you have depression, if you're anxious, all of those things, you put on a persona to show up. And I don't think people realize quite how exhausting that can be. So in Mental Health Matters, I talk to a lot of people with lived experience. Sometimes to even just get themselves to the studio is effort enough. To then have to perform for a further 56 minutes, it's going to completely exhaust them. And I think we don't understand masking enough. We tend to go, oh, well, that person looks happy. Leave it at that. Let's not go any further.
Yeah.
And we need to understand that everybody could well be putting on a professional face.
Absolutely. At some point in time, anyway. So you mentioned neurodivergence. What is that?
Neurodivergence, it's when your brain chemistry, the brain makeup is different in some way. So we're talking sometimes with diagnoses of autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, any of those different brain setups is an understanding of the neurological differences. And so that's just being aware of the diversity that we have. What is important to recognize, though, is that neurodiversity is not a case of, oh, if you just work a bit harder, you can get better at this, that, and the other. Your brain's just set up differently. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't mean you can force one person who has ADHD, for example, to suddenly become somebody completely different. We are talking about different configurations, like a smartphone, a laptop, and a desktop. You wouldn't expect the desktop to be able to do what a smartphone does. You wouldn't expect the smartphone to be able to do what a laptop does, even though there is some crossover between all three of them. And that's how we need to understand neurodiversity. Not one is better than the other. Not one is worse than the other. It's just different.
Ooh, that's a word in itself. Neither one is better than the other one. It's just different. Right. And unique. Everybody has their own unique thing. And I think if people embrace their uniqueness more instead of wanting to mesh with other people, like, and respect other people's differences, that's the biggest thing. Like, you have to respect that I'm not the same as you, right? That doesn't mean something is wrong with me, and that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. We are just two different, beautiful people. We put both of our beauties together, and we have a power plan, right? Or like, it's just more powerful when it's two different people and you put it together. Like, but people like, no, you should think like me, you should be like me, or I want to be like you, I want to think like you. No, all of us can't be the same. Okay.
Absolutely. And one of the problems is that I think we're brought up thinking about self-esteem. So we're kind of brought up with that comparison to other people. Oh, well, you didn't win that race, but you didn't come last. And it's kind of like, well, hang on a minute. That introduces a very strange thought into somebody's head. Instead of focusing on self-esteem, which is our value in comparison to others, we're probably better off focusing on self-compassion, which is I didn't win, but I showed up. And that's a more healthy approach to life and to understanding our place and who we are and how much we can grow.
That's good. Was there ever a time when you had to reclaim your joy without faking it?
Oh, I think in some cases, when you've got a brand, you fake it for such a long time, you begin to lose who you are. So in many ways, doing the pageant, and so I've had a whole sort of 6-month run up, taking coaching sessions for it, enjoying buying a new outfit and so on. That was something I did for myself, because for over 30 plus years, I've been creating opportunities for other people, whether that's through my books, whether that's through being a teacher, whether that's through community theatre, whatever it is I'm doing, it's about holding a space for other people. And you begin to forget, do you know what? I used to like doing that. I was quite good at that. And so this was something I just thought, I'm going to do it. It'll be fun. I'll enjoy it, but I have to do something which is just focused on me. And it was such a wonderful experience, because going through my own coaching, I was able to learn new skills, appreciate different elements of myself, because I always think of myself as quite chaotic, but my coach brought out this grace and this elegance in what I do. And I think that was fantastic. Then actually going to the pageant, where I didn't go as Dr. Audrey, because why would you? There's absolutely no need. You just turn up, you go, hi, I'm Audrey. And to be liked and welcomed and recognized just for showing up as me was the most amazing gift I could have given myself for my 50th birthday. It was absolutely wonderful. And so I recommend doing that to absolutely everybody. But fundamentally, I recommend doing something that just speaks to whoever that person is deeper down, that maybe you don't bring to the surface very often.
That is some good nuggets. Okay, okay. So this is a perfect place for us to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what we did for our September month, which is suicide prevention and self-care month. So y'all hold on. We'll be right back with Dr. Audrey.
Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Do you ever feel like you're running on empty? Stuck in the same cycle? Or just trying to keep it all together? You're not alone. Stress, depression, burnout, and self-doubt are real, but they don't have to control your life. Imagine feeling empowered, balanced, and truly at peace. At Girl Talk Mental Health, we're diving deep into the real conversations that help you heal, grow, and thrive. From breaking stigmas to actionable strategies. We're here to empower you to take back control of your mental wellness and reclaim your time, your energy, and your joy. Follow us now for expert insights, uplifting conversations, and the tools you need to transform your life. It's time for real talk with real impact. Girl Talk Mental Health. Real conversations, real change. Follow us today at Virginia Dell Menning.
All right, so welcome back to the second half of Girl Talk Mental Health. If you missed any part of the first part, you need to go back and rewatch, comment, like, and see what Dr. Audrey talked about, especially about the part about you being who you are and embracing being different, because there is nothing wrong with being different. So, Dr. Audrey, for someone who's watching and silently suffering, if you could speak to the you who almost gave up at any point in your life, and you gave us a couple of scenarios and they were great and awesome. So, what would you say now?
Anything, it gets easier if you speak to somebody. However, the person you choose to speak to has got to be somebody that you trust. What I mean by this is, so often when we're in a rut, when we're in a dark place, it's eased by sharing that burden. But if you've chosen the wrong person to confide in, and I'm not necessarily saying somebody who's going to shout your secrets to the world, but I am saying sometimes somebody who's not necessarily going to hold and validate how you're feeling, you can still come out feeling worse. So we've got to choose those people really, really carefully. It doesn't come from a place of anywhere other than love, actually. But what can happen is, if somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, I feel so awful. I'm stupid. I'm ugly. I'm all of those negative words." From that place of love, you immediately go, "Oh, you're not. You're amazing. You're beautiful," and you will list all of those reasons why you know that person is incredible. However, what that person hears is, "Oh, I'm not even allowed to feel as I do,"
Right.
and so we really need to, if we're lucky enough to be spoken with and confided in, we need to hold that person's feelings, and just asking a simple, "I'm really sad to hear that. Why do you feel that way?" can make a huge difference. So it's two things. One, what first is reach out, but be careful who you reach out to. And then the sneaky third is, if you are reached out to, hold their anxiety, hold their feelings, and hold their right to feel that way.
Right, because your feelings are valid. Don't let people talk you out of your feelings or make you feel like you should minimize them or then that would make you feel like you wrong for feeling a certain type of way. And like I should always feel great and I should always think I'm on top of the world. And that's not realistic. And so when you don't meet those unrealistic expectations of thinking you're supposed to be on the top already, it makes you feel even worse.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And it people don't mean to do it, but
They don't.
it comes across that way.
Hmm. And that leads over to people feeling invalid, which leads to with the September month suicide and those negative thoughts and not really. That's a part of you stopping and taking care of yourself and realizing, like, wait a minute, let me take care of myself. Like this person just said these things, but let me stop and love on me. Do some journaling, do some positive affirmations, something that's going to like negate what that person just put into you. And like you said, sometimes they don't even intentionally be doing it. So that's great information. Absolutely.
Journaling actually is a really important thing to be able to do, and it doesn't have to be written in beautiful prose or anything like that. Just
That's what I tell
scribbling.
people all the time.
Yeah, just scribble, and that's absolutely fine. Get that emotion out. Once you've done that, you've cleared a little bit of breathing space, and it's easier to begin to start to manage. I'm not saying it won't take the problems away, but it just gives you a little bit of thinking space to start dealing.
See, that's why I love our special guests because they always validate what I tell people all the time. And sometimes they think, really, that's not going to work. But then when another professional comes back and says the same thing, see, I know something wasn't wrong with me.
Absolutely.
Well, we are at our viewers' favorite part of the show, and that is the speaker spotlight question. So, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So, what's one mindset shift or action step you believe could transform how we approach mental health and wellness in our daily lives?
It's okay to feel sad. So often I hear people say something quite awful has happened to them, and then they'll say something like, oh, but it's not as bad as somebody else has had, or it's I'm just being silly. No, 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 you're not. You are having a perfectly normal response to what has happened. So let's learn to be sad better. Let's not try and cover it up. If we're feeling sad, we're allowed to feel sad. It's a feeling. It will pass. So that's the first thing. The second thing is mental health is on a continuum. We are not always happy all the time, and that's okay. We're not always sad all the time unless we perhaps need extra support. That's a different matter. But most people fluctuate between okay, amazing, not so great today, and it can happen within hours. That's normal too. It's only when a certain pervasive mood is taking over your day, meaning it's very difficult to function, that's when you might need to reach out for extra help. And just something that I find helps me, it may not help everybody, but sometimes when I'm going through one of those really difficult, challenging times, I will say to myself, well, in a year's time, this will not be bothering me anymore. And I have that helps me kind of just
Mhm.
cope in the moment.
And give you something to look forward to, like setting a goal, and then you're going to work towards that goal.
Yeah,
Give you something to look
precisely.
forward to. That's perfect. So let the audience know where they can connect with you, and if you have some special offer, if you want to invite them to your show, or what you have to offer them.
Well, I host Mental Health Matters every Thursday at 8 a.m. PT and 8 p.m. PT. And we have all the best guest experts on that show, including the lovely Virginia Dale Manning. And we have conversations about the workplace in our morning show, and we have conversations about all aspects of mental health in our evening show. And it's a really great way to get high level expert advice absolutely free because it's on your E360 TV. However, you can always get hold of me or at www.draudreyt.com, and you can download chapters of my book and get my meditations and so on from that website.
Oh, well, thank you. And I did enjoy being on your show. And I'm looking for my next invitation. Okay. I'm looking in the inbox. Okay.
Absolutely. Definitely want to have you again because we quote you a lot. We quote your dinner table and how
Really?
the woman has
Oh,
is that centerpiece and you want that
yeah.
centerpiece to look amazing. So we quote you a lot on our show.
Oh, and you remember, that is so inspiring.
No, thank you. We love our guests because, like yourself, they're such high level practitioners that they've got so many useful tips and tools. And it's a great privilege for us to speak with people like you too.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, whether you're dealing with burnout, battling shame, or simply longing for peace, our season 3 episodes are just for you. And all of you who are watching, don't forget the next season brings with you choosing you. We want to hear from you. We want to tell your truths. We want your tools. We want you to get tools and transformation and tell us everything you experienced this season. I want you to connect with Dr. Audrey. Go watch her awesome show. Go watch the episode with Virginia on it. Hint, hint. And just connect, comment, share, because we want you to be in the healthiest season you can be, especially going into 2026. And now is the time to make sure you are at your prime. So see you all next week for another awesome episode of Girl Talk Mental Health. Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us for Girl Talk Mental Health. Remember, your mental health is your wealth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to at Virginia Del Manning.